Morning and welcome into the Real Monica Adams show. We are home, so that's the mobile Monica version. Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, we are either on the road. We're doing mobile Monica's live from businesses like we did from the woman that I'm going to have on today. Just a few weeks ago, we sat poolside with Just Pools, and I know a lot of you told me that you went in for their Memorial Weekend sales. Fantastic. I also want you to go in and buy those raffle tickets. You could win a above ground pool. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and the charities that they're giving to. But when we sat down a couple of months ago, the owner and myself talked about some really serious real world problems. And a comment that she made was, people don't talk about this, Monica. And I said, oh, we are going to, because that's what this show is all about. We need to discuss the issues that are out there in the world that we need to say, what is it that we can do about it? So we're going to discuss some really serious things today, but we're going to talk about how you overcome that, right? Your faith, leaning in on your family, leaning in on the community. And as you see on the bottom of the screen, please do me a favor and share, like, and follow so that others that are on your social pages can see that we're discussing these type of things and that we are asking, what can we do to help? One is awareness. We're going to discuss all of that. As far as news you can use, a lot of it had to do with accidents. A lot of you experiencing rain overnight and early this morning. The roads are wet. So if you are heading out, be careful. We had some accidents. In fact, 44 westbound in the Crawford County area around Bourbon, they have the highway shut down because of an overturned tractor trailer. So be careful if you're moving in the westbound direction. You may have to reroute yourself. And just really all over that weather, by the way, it will move out. We are going to see, hopefully, a little bit of sun later after probably about 12 o'clock. You're high in the mid 80s today. This is the forecast from First Alert for our KMOV friends. 85 pretty much for the next few days. And then we drop down a little bit into the low 80s as we get into the weekend. A slight chance of rain on Saturday, but you'll see some sunshine and pool time for you. And then look at Monday, Tuesday in the mid 80s, looking absolutely gorgeous. But tomorrow, I'm going to say, is that pick day, sunshine and the mid 80s. So do exactly that. Sit out by the pool or go over to a friend's house if you can, if you don't have your own pool, or maybe you go to a community pool. So that's the forecast. As far as news you can use, there wasn't, like I said, a lot except for what I was seeing having to do with accidents. They're continuing in the opening talks as we mentioned a couple days ago with regards to President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, in the opening statements of that trial with regards to whether he had guns and in possession of guns when we're talking about being on drugs, and he denies this and says he's not guilty. The discussions happen with, like I said, the opening arguments in that. That's from more of a national side. There was a funny story about a young girl. I mean, it came out to be okay, but can you imagine being a family where you're driving through, you're trying to see these animals, and this giraffe came into their sunroof and actually picked the child up. Fortunately, they were able to get the child back, but how traumatic would that be? The funny part of the story is the mom went into the gift shop and actually bought a stuffed plush giraffe animal. Would you do that to maybe de-traumatize and say it's okay? See, the animal gave you back to us, or would you be like, I want nothing to do with giraffes? I thought that was kind of funny. That was maybe a funny story. You can maybe Google and look for that one. That kind of went viral. Other than that, I don't think there was a whole heck of a lot that I think you needed to know about. We'll look at some of that and pass it along if you think that if you see anything that you think people need to know. I do know that they announced the Celebrate St. Louis 4th of July Festival schedule, and that is what it's called now, Celebrate St. Louis 4th of July. So that came out, and the fun kicks off with the parade at 10 a.m. downtown. It will broadcast on First Alert 4. Starting at noon, they'll have food and beverage vendors that will then open the riverfront on Lenore K. Sullivan Boulevard. They'll have a family fun zone, and then at 12:30, the 2024 Teen Talent finalist will perform. At 6:25, service members and their families will be honored. Please be there for that with a special recognition ceremony. And then from 4:15 until 9:40, they will have live music under the Gateway Arch, which is going to be awesome. They've got Feel. Low Cash is coming from 6:40 to 8 p.m. and then 8:25 to 9:40. It's The Urge. That would be pretty cool. I haven't been to any type of 4th of July festivities in I don't know how long. We used to go to the VP Fair. How many of you used to go to the VP Fair? But yeah, that schedule has been announced. So if you like those bands, be sure to get out for that. But that's about it. I don't really think that I saw a whole heck of a lot that I think really is worthwhile. So honestly, I think today would be a hard day to be in news to try to say, what the heck are we going to do? That's when you start to just go, yeah, let's do this story. Let's do this story because we have to fill time. That's why I wanted to do this show, that we've got more pressing topics to talk about and more in depth at that. So we're going to sit down today, as you see in the description, with Madonna Livingston. Now, Madonna and I sat poolside a few weeks ago and we talked about getting you a pool, talked about the longevity of their business. We'll discuss a little bit more of that today, but we want to get into a really deep conversation because these are the things we need to be talking about. Fentanyl abuse and fentanyl overdoses and losing your children. Madonna lost not one son, two sons. And it just broke my heart. And when we sat there and talked to each other, I thought, how do you go on? Because how many parents say, I never want to go before my child, right? It's just, it doesn't seem right. Well, she experienced that twice, 9 years ago and 2 years ago. We're going to talk about that today. First of all, we're going to talk about what fentanyl is. We're going to talk about the lowest amount of the dose that can be lethal. We're going to discuss the symptoms, the warning signs. All of these things need to be discussed, and please be raw and real. And if you are dealing with this right now, maybe you yourself are taking fentanyl. Hopefully what we say today can start to get you off of that so that we don't have another tragedy happen. We're going to sit down again with a real deep discussion with Madonna Livingston. Don't go anywhere. That's when we return.
When I started My Pillow, it was just a problem solution one product company. Well, since then, with the help of my dedicated employees, we now have hundreds of products, some you might not even know about. To get the word out, we're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use My Pillows, $25. My Pillow sandals, $25. And for the first time ever, our 6-pack towel sets, you guessed it, just $25. Our brand new 4-pack dish towels, $25. And I've never done this before. Premium My Pillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size for only $25. And there's so much more. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over. Your entire order ships absolutely free.
Jim, what do you think? He got the medium roast. He said he thinks he would like to get the dark roast, but light, medium, and dark roast. So he said it's very good. Try the coffee from My Pillow. So yes, they have so much more than pillows. I did finally put the towels in the washer and dryer. They're all really, really soft. And as he says, they're not just the softest towels, but they actually work. How many of you have towels that don't work for you? So sheets and pillows and a big body pillow, all these things that I've been trying out that I absolutely love. So thanks, Mike Lindell, for being one of our sponsors. That's the thing that we love, is that it's been growing and growing and growing. As you see on the bottom of the screen, special thanks to our growing list. And one of the sponsors that came on with us just this month is right here, Madonna Livingston with Just Pools. How are you, Madonna?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Good morning. So Madonna's sitting outside by her pool. She said it's a little wet out there. I was going to, but I was a little afraid that it was too wet and I was going to get poured on. So it came through the rain already came through your area, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jefferson County, South County has been experiencing that over the last couple of hours. Hopefully it'll be moving out. You still might have a pop up here or there, but if you can get outside and enjoy some time by the pool today, definitely do that. So Madonna, you and I sat poolside just a few weeks ago and enjoyed some fun time together talking about pools, which we will. We'll do a little bit of that again today. But you and I discussed, and I don't even know how it came up, but I think it was a God wink, because this is something we need to talk about. You mentioned that you had lost a son, and then somehow it came back that you had lost two sons, and both tragically. And I said, oh my gosh, how do you go on? And one of the things you said was faith, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I have to believe that in my heart, I believe that ultimately God is in control. And there was nothing in my power that I didn't do, but it didn't do any good because he has a plan. And I have to know that eventually I'm going to see my boys again.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. We're going to show your boys, by the way, Ricky and Andy. Tell me, as we look at these pictures, tell me what these pictures mean to you, and then we'll talk about the heartbreak of what you and your family went through.
That picture there is Rick. He was graduating from Missouri State in Springfield. He was struggling, but not letting anybody know. I
Mm.
did not know that he was struggling. I knew that my son Andrew was, but I never in a million years dreamed that Rick would.
And so, how did you know that Andrew was struggling? What were the signs?
Andrew actually came home from college his freshman year
Hmm.
and said, "Mom, I'm having trouble with pain pills." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Some friends started helping me get by, and I've been taking pain pills, and I need some help." So he stayed home for about a month. We got him straightened out. I thought he had learned his lesson, but unfortunately, when he went back to college, the next time it was something even stronger.
Mm.
So Andrew struggled. I will tell you that our life was a living HELL
Yeah.
for over, well, let's see, 15 years,
Oh, wow.
up, downs, 4 rehabs.
Mm.
Unfortunately, as a parent, we can't do it for them. As much as we want to, and as much as we try tough love, I'm not a tough love person. I know I had a lot of people say, "Oh, you got to kick them out of the house. You got to do this. You got to do that." I can't do that. My faith says God would never turn his back on me. Who am I to turn my back on someone else?
Mm.
That's my faith. So I was beside them every step of the way. Like I said, I sent Andy to 4 different rehabs. Rick, I would have also, but Rick was a more private person
Yeah.
and he didn't really come around a lot. He was very, very independent. So I never knew that he was struggling.
Did he tell anyone? That's so if you're just tuning in, once again, Madonna Livingston is my guest. And a lot of you know Madonna, longtime business owner. You've given her business. And if you haven't, I want you to do so. I want you to go in and I want you to give her a big hug and say, I had no idea all these years that you were going through this. I didn't. I've known Madonna since I started my career back in 94 in Festus. Had no idea that this story existed all these years later. And I'm glad that this discussion came out because these are real world problems that we need to be talking about. And then, as Madonna's saying, that, was there anyone that was told about the problems? Some people might be a little bit more vocal about it. Others might be not so much, as she found with Rick. Did you find out after his death, did he talk with anyone? Was there any warning sign whatsoever?
Actually, he finally talked to me a couple weeks before he passed away. I still did not know to the extent that he was having troubles. He had just said that he was having some troubles and he had wanted to go on to this new shot, which automatically told me, okay, he is really struggling.
Yeah.
So I told him we would discuss it. The night before he passed away, he decided to go out partying with his friends. And I will never forget this evening. And as a parent, you never, ever forget. I said, Rick, number one, you don't have the money to go party. I said, number two, if you want to get help, then you need to stay away from these people.
Hmm.
We had a real bad argument and he stormed out of the house. I don't know what time he came in, but the next morning I went to work And my daughter-in-law, actually, my son Andrew and my daughter-in-law found him in the bathroom floor while I was at work. So I remember getting the call at work, and I was sitting down with a customer, and my daughter Shannon had answered the phone, and all of a sudden she was hysterical. And she's like, "Mom, you got to take this call." And I went to the phone, and my son Andrew said, "Rick's dead."
Mm.
And I said, "What?" And he said, "Rick's dead." And I said, "Oh, no, he's not, but he's going to be when I get there." I remember those words exactly. And I went back in. Don't ask me why, but I said, "Let me finish you guys up." And they were like, "No, you just go." I was in denial mode.
Sure you were.
There's no way. So when I got home, the police were there, and I went storming into the house, and one of the officers grabbed me and he's like, "You can't go in there." And I'm like, "Oh, yes, I can. He's going to get up." I just remember that so vividly. And he's like, "No, I can't let you go in there." So
Wow.
I did not, it did not really hit me, I guess, until the coroner came and I got to kiss him goodbye.
Oh, Madonna, you're breaking my heart. Again, this happened to her 9 years ago. In fact, when we were looking at sitting down and doing our show live from Just Pools and we were picking a date, she went to the date and said, and she looked at me and she said, "Monica, that's the date it's meant to be." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "That's the anniversary of when I lost my Ricky." That's actually how we started talking about this. And I said, "Well, then let's
Yeah.
honor him." And on that day we did. And we said, "This show's for you, Ricky." But we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to go deeper into this because, as you heard, it didn't happen just once, it happened again. And many of you in life, as you go through tragedy, that may push you away from your faith. But one of the most powerful things that Madonna said to me was, "But if I don't have faith, what do I have? And how can I pick up each morning?" That aspect of faith and family and community is where we go from here.
Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online envitahealthandwellness.com.
Welcome back. It is 7:18. If you're just tuning in, again, the Real Monica Adams Show, and I'm visiting with my friend Madonna Livingston. Madonna is the owner of Just Pools and Spas on the West Outer Road, and they're doing some incredible things there. We'll talk about in a little bit later into the second half hour. If you haven't heard the beginning of the show, we've been talking about how Madonna lost not one, but two sons to fentanyl overdose, and heartbreaking to find out that you lose one son to that. And then here we are 7 years later, and she loses another, Rick and Andy. Again, our hearts go out to Madonna. Madonna, as I mentioned going into the break, many people, they would do the "why me?" and then they would question God and they would turn away from God. How did you not do that?
I was angry with God. I will say that. Him and I had some really, really serious conversations.
Hmm.
Um, but you have to realize that you don't have control. God has control. And if you've brought your children up right, you know that they have their faith. Therefore, you know that you are going to see them again. They're in a better place than we are. Um, but it's heartbreaking not to have them walk this life with you.
Yep.
It's very hard.
I'm putting some of the comments up on the screen. Right as you said, God's got this, and I'm going to talk with him, and I'm going to lean in on him. Julie said God's plan. Kathy, as you can see, I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you for being so open. I know you're helping others through the story, and that is exactly why we wanted Madonna to do this. Madonna said, "But Monica, people don't talk about this," and I said, "See, that's why I wanted to do this show, because we do." On this show, we do. We talk about these things. I want to put this up on the screen about the science behind the addiction. A lot of you hear about fentanyl and then you say, but I don't really even understand what it is. What is it? What are the side effects, etc.? It's an opioid, first of all, like morphine, but 50 to 100 times more potent. It's often prescribed for severe pain. You heard Madonna talking about Andy saying that, well, I've got these, pain pills. However, it's also manufactured and sold illegally. Fentanyl is a controlled substance in Schedule 2 under the Controlled Substances Act, meaning it has a high potential for misuse, which can lead to severe psychological or physical dependence. And it's also the aspect of some of the side effects and what someone might be going through that may be, in fact, using fentanyl. Then some parents say, well, I don't even understand where they're getting it from if it's illegal. How can I keep my kids from this? So some of the side effects, again, into the brain, the muscles, the skin, the intestines, the bladder, as you're seeing, how it affects the lungs, the head, all of these things I want you to take a close look at this morning, as maybe you see some of this in your own kids, or maybe you see it in a spouse or a dear friend, and then you start talking about it. But for Madonna, Andy discussed some of it, but unfortunately it was too late. Ricky was hiding and not really saying anything about it until it definitely was too late. Did you ask any friends, etc.? Where did they get the fentanyl?
Dealers. Yes.
And for Ricky, was it at school?
They were both at school. Yes.
How old was Ricky and Andy, by the way, when you lost them?
Rick, they were both in their 30s.
In their 30s. Just again, taken way too soon. So, I think my husband, who obviously a lot of you know is a lieutenant with the county police, he was there when we were discussing this a couple of months ago. And, some people will say, if you know about it, can you maybe try to alert the police and get the police involved? And you said you did, in fact. Tell us that story.
Oh, I did. There was one point where I knew Andrew was high and he was driving home, and I called the police and I said, listen, this is his vehicle. This is his plate number. He is driving. He is high. He is going to hurt somebody. Can you please just go stop him and arrest him? They would not do it.
Why?
I guess the prisons are overcrowded. I tried several things to try to get him put in jail, to try to get him, my fear was that.
Oh, we're having an issue with your microphone for a second. I tell you what, let me take a quick break. For some reason it just hollowed out. It's almost like it got dumped in a pool. Let's do this. Let me take a quick break. We'll play a promo here and see if we can get your microphone. We'll be right back with Madonna.
Okay.
She's a special woman and done so much for St. Louis.
Watching her work is one of the most incredible things you can see.
She just sees value in everyone.
Sometimes people just need you to sit with them and hear them. I feel heard.
The time flew by, and it was like sitting and talking to a friend.
Not only creating a better place here in St. Louis, but to inspire others. It's always great to have examples like you.
You have such a light and such a presence, and I could feel it this morning.
We knew right away when you started this, we wanted to be on your show. Thanks for having us.
I look forward to seeing how you rock and roll and shake it up.
Hey, Real Monica Adams listeners. This is Abby Stallschmidt. You may know me as an electric violinist who has performed with various bands in the area, and I'm excited to personally invite you to my premiere at the Sheldon Concert Hall on June 5th at 8 p.m. You'll hear my new symphonic rock music as well as classic rock and pop covers, all backed by a string orchestra, full band, and multiple guest instrumentalists and vocalists throughout the night. It's truly going to be an awesome time. Head on over to metrotix.com or the Sheldon Concert Hall to get your tickets for the Dream Machine concert on June 5th at 8 p.m. I cannot wait to see you there.
All right, welcome back again, The Real Monica Adams Show. By the way, you just saw that with Abby Stallschmidt, and that is tonight. I am so super proud of Abby, her original music, and I hope you've bought your tickets. If you haven't, those tickets are still available. 8 o'clock tonight, again, as you heard her say, at the Sheldon. We want to pack that place. So you can buy those last-minute tickets because sometimes people wait to the last second to buy their tickets to whatever they want to do. If you have just tuned in, we've been talking with Madonna Livingston. Madonna, again, the owner of Just Pools and Spas in the Arnold area on the West Outer Road. We're going to talk a little bit more about their business and the family, but we did a lot of that a few weeks back. The family has endured so much since their beginning, and you're looking here at some of the pictures of the family, and that's really what you have to lean in on when you go through tough times. Don't turn away from your family. Lean in on your community because each and every person has endured the pain in their own way. And we're looking back at pictures from when they first started Just Pools and everything that they've gone through since. So Madonna, again, faith, family, community, for people who go through traumatic things like you have, we mention about leaning in on your faith if you can, but it's also the family because you lost a son, but others lost a brother, right? They lost a dear friend. So everyone goes through their levels of denial, go through anger, goes through sadness and depression and fear, right? So how did you all come together as a family?
All you can do is just really lean on each other. You know, I will mention also, I have lost 3 nephews to this drug overdoses.
Oh my gosh.
So they're
I'm not sure if you guys can all, she's having issues with her microphone, but I'm not sure if you hear her really good, but she's lost 3 nephews also to this. I mean, it's been around the family way too much. I'm going to have you get closer to the microphone. I don't know what happened. It sounds like she got into the pool. No, huh?
Is this better?
That is better. I hate that you have to hold it, but yes. I mean, your message is what's important. It's not, we love looking at the pool, but yeah, I don't know where you were or why that happened. But yeah, you said you lost 3 nephews as well?
Yes, I have.
Oh my goodness.
My brother Tim lost his son. My sister-in-law lost her son. And then, oh my gosh, my brother Roy, he lost his stepson. So we've had a total of 5.
So looking at these pictures of your family, what does it mean to you have your family around and be able to pull you through something like that?
Well, that's what you need. You've got to have that support system to help you get through each day, to lean on each other. You're going to have days, you know, I will say you're going to have days where you just want to crawl up into a ball and not get up and get moving, but you keep moving because you have others that count on you, others that need you.
Yep.
So you can't, I wouldn't say wallow in self-pity, but you can't just say, poor me, I can't do this. You've got to get up and keep going. That's the only way to do it.
That is such a powerful thing because Madonna, that is exactly what happens in life, that there's so many things that we endure. There's so much tragedy that's out there, but then there are new days. And I think a lot of times when people go through this kind of trauma, they say, but sometimes I question, well, how can I go on? Or why do I want to go on? They try to see their purpose beyond, and you're looking at your purpose right here. I mean, what does this picture mean to you?
Those are my beautiful grandchildren, and they keep me going. They keep me on my toes. I have to realize I have a son and a daughter who are still living.
Yep.
And they need me. I have to keep going. I have to be their support.
And there they are right there. And by the way, they're incredible human beings. I have loved getting to know them. And you will get that same opportunity. You go in and you visit Just Pools. Say hi to Shannon. Say hi to Tommy. Say hi to Michelle, which is Madonna's sister. The entire family they've pulled together. But as you just mentioned, and that's a really good point to go into here in our second half hour, Madonna, it's not like you're going to lose your children and then the next day you say, okay, well, I got to move on for my other kids and for my grandkids and we'll be okay from here. You have your ups and downs. I mean, let's be real with you. Do you still get mad at God?
I don't get mad at him, but I still get heartbroken. There are days where a song will come on the radio or something will happen and I'll just break down and cry.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Mm.
Tomorrow you go on.
Did you hear what you just said? Because that's a powerful thing we've discussed on the show a lot. It is okay. And actually, we need more. It's actually cathartic for us. We need more of emotions to come out. You need to, if you still have anger in you, get the anger out. But, you want to beat on the pillow, and then speak about it. Women, Madonna, are more apt to talk about their emotions. We need to get more guys talking. That's the thing I fear, because when they hold it inside, we don't know what they're turning to. We don't know why they're turning to alcohol or drug abuse. It's the root cause of the problem a lot of times. Have you as your family talked to say, maybe this is why Rick turned to this. Maybe this is why Andy turned to this. Maybe this is why the nephews turned to this?
No, not really, because reality is you're never going to know why.
Yeah.
That's reality. You're just never going to know why. And no matter what you do, ultimately they have to make the decision. We can't make it for them.
Right.
They have to choose to get better.
Oh yeah. And that's the hardest thing is, right? It's the choice. You always hear where no matter what it is that someone's struggling with in life, it's like people will try to say, well, just tell them to stop. And it's not that easy. We've got to get them into centers. We've got to turn them on to a helpline. I'm going to show some of this. Anybody that's listening right now that knows someone that's going through this, there is a lifeline there in Missouri. They dial 988. And we pulled up some statistics from SAMHSA's National Helpline. And you can see the website there on the left side. You can take those numbers down, take this part of the show, share this with those that you love. National Drug Overdose Deaths number among all ages. And just look at how the growth has been from 1999 to 2022. The national overdose deaths involving prescription opioids. You see the ages of this. I mean, look, we're talking almost 20,000 as it's growing. This is in combination with synthetic opioids. And people are saying, not my kid. This isn't going to happen to my child. Right. Then it also is men and women both. And these are some statistics that have happened just over the years from 99 to 2022, national statistics. This picture tells a lot. Look at that picture of the penny. Okay. So you know how small a penny is. But what's next to that is a lethal dose of fentanyl. Just that small amount can take the life of one of your loved ones. Realize that. Understand the dangers of that. Again, we're talking about a woman that's lost 2 children to fentanyl overdose. Madonna Livingston is our guest this morning. And again, Madonna is the owner of Just Pools and Spa in Arnold on the West Outer Road. How difficult was it, Madonna, for you to, after you tried to heal, pick up and continue to go to work? Because you mentioned being there for your family, but it's the community, because you're running a very popular, very thriving business.
Well, believe it or not, I was at work the next day.
Oh my goodness.
I made myself go. I said, you cannot just sit here and cry. There's nothing you can do about it. Work took my mind off of it. It gave me something besides thinking about it. I had to stay busy. That was me. You know, I had to be talking to other people. I had to be having my conversations and just keeping my mind off of it. Because in the evening when you go home, then you have your time to break down.
And when you went home, did you live by yourself? Were you alone? Because that's one of the hardest things.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
You know, with Rick, Andy lived with me at the time.
Okay.
But when Andy passed away, yes, I was living by myself. But I can tell you that the morning that I found out he passed away, which a police officer showed up at my door that morning. He was married, and I found out 3 hours later that he had passed away. And my daughter came, and a bunch of in-laws. I probably had 30 people at my house. Same with Ricky. As soon as everybody found out, my house was full. Everyone coming to give support. And that's a wonderful thing, to have your family, you know, just gather around you and be there with you.
Well, that's what you need, but you can't be alone. You said something though that sometimes I fear, and that is I understand keeping the mind busy, but how do you take care of your spirit? How do you take care of your heart? Because sometimes people, and I get it, immerse themselves in just work, 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 work. But then everybody gets a little worried because then they say, but are you truly okay? How are we going to take care of you? How did you take care of your spirit?
Oops, sorry. Just basically prayer.
Yeah.
Lots of prayer, lots of talking to God, and having honest conversations with the Lord. You know, just because he's the Lord doesn't mean I can't get mad at him. So we've had a lot of in-depth conversations. And my children, you know, we've had a lot of good conversations and a lot of hug it outs. And, you know, you just keep going. I know I'm only on this earth for a short time, and I know where I'm going, and I know that my boys are there, and I don't know what's in store for all of us, but I know that it's going to be joyful when I see them again.
And really, isn't that what keeps you going? That
It is.
right? That you think, gosh, I'm so sorry that you were going through so much pain, or whatever the root cause of the problem was, and I can't wait to talk to you again and actually hear you. But do you have discussions besides with God? Do you have discussions with your sons, and can you actually hear them respond back to you spiritually?
No, unfortunately, I don't. I had a friend. She had lost a couple sons, and she said that she always at night could talk to them in her sleep. And I thought that was so awesome. I wish the Lord would grant me that, but for some reason he hasn't. So I have to accept that. I mean, there are days when I could swear Ricky is standing by me or Andy is standing by me. It's a weird feeling, but I know they're there.
Oh, that's beautiful. I believe. I mean, again, everybody that's watching or will watch this later, you've probably had experiences like that. I firmly believe that they really are. When you feel their presence, or my husband believes that when a song comes on, that's them trying to get a message to you. You believe that too?
Yes.
Well, we
Yes.
have it.
It makes you cry though.
But again, that's healing.
Right.
We have to go through that level of it. So Madonna mentioned that she went to work and the thriving business. For those, by the way, that didn't see our show a few weeks ago, Madonna, and didn't know that you existed, tell them how many years you've had Just Pools.
43 years now we've been there.
So incredible. Again, building these beautiful pools for you. People going in once they have those pools, going back in and getting the fun toys. By the way, bring the kids in. Let Madonna smile and see the joy in your family of how much they have enjoyed the pools, the above grounds, the in-ground pools. Have the kids come, pick out their own toy, get the noodles, get the floats, because we officially are full blown into pool season. Here's the thing that I love. Madonna and her family are giving away. This is the first time ever, right? You're giving away an above ground pool.
Yes, we are. It's a 30-foot round above ground pool. It's a $20 raffle ticket, and the proceeds are getting split between Find Your Rest Ministries, which helps kids in our area that do not have beds, which you would be surprised how many there actually are. And then I think the other one's called Tunnels to Towers.
Yes, Tunnels for Towers.
Yes, and they help vets and first responders.
Thank you. Thank you. And how did you come to choose those two charities?
A customer of ours suggested the Tunnels for Towers, and Find Your Rest Ministries is the church that my daughter and her family go to.
I love it. And you see on the screen here, so you have from now through July 5th to purchase those raffle tickets, and they are giving, again, all of the money. 100% of the proceeds are going to those two charities: Find Your Rest Ministries, Tunnels for Towers. $20 ticket. I mean, come on. If you win, you have such a complete change in your life, because having a pool is one of the most amazing things. Only $20 could win you that opportunity. You're going to pull the drawing on July 6th, right?
Yes, we are.
Now, do people have to be present, or you would call them?
No, we're going to call them.
Okay.
That's why we have make sure you put your phone number down so that we can call you.
So we bought 3 tickets. I bought a couple. My mom bought one. We'll probably buy some more. So I've had people say, Madonna, but you already have a pool. And I'm like, I know. I would be gifting a pool to someone, which would be the most incredible thing. You've got that beautiful pool behind you. Are you at your daughter's house?
Yes, I am. And I just got my grandson to come out and hold the phone for me.
Oh, see? Well, let's give a shout out to your grandson. What's his name?
Cameron.
Thank you, Cameron, for helping Grandma out. Is Cameron in this picture? Is he in this picture somewhere?
Yes, he is. His is, it'd be my left as I'm looking at the picture. His head's right next to me.
Oh, see? Always there for Grandma, and in times of when we need them the most. So, when we talk about pools, exactly what we see behind you, Madonna, has been the most popular thing, right? All these different features. What's the biggest thing that people have asked for with their pools over the last maybe 5 to 10 years?
Sun ledges.
Sun ledges.
Yes, sun ledges, so that they can lounge in the water, but yet not be deep in it.
Absolutely. We don't want to. Well, we also are just slowly getting ourselves into it. I got into ours. We don't have a heater. I got into ours a couple of weeks ago, Madonna, and my husband's son and I jumped in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's cold. It was a wake up call. I wasn't expecting that. What's the temperature of the water that you like the most?
84.
Yeah, see, it was 80 and it was a little too cold. You wouldn't think 80 would be cold, but it was cold.
Yes, it is.
We also took some pictures when we were there and some video that we'll be showing as we start to talk about Just Pools more and more over the months. But the fire and the water features, how popular are those? Because I'm just in love with that.
The water features are very popular. Not so much the fire, though, because they are very expensive. I will say that. Hopefully in the next few years, things will come down in prices.
Yep.
And that will be something that more people can afford.
Well, the thing that I love, because during the pandemic, this wasn't the case, but for people who are looking to have a pool built, you're able to get an in-ground pool in for them by fall. You have maybe, a couple left that you can still do this year?
Yes, we have a couple slots left for a fall installation, yes.
So what is more popular right now, above or in-ground pools?
In-ground pools.
Yeah. Yeah, growing up, so in the 70s, we had an above ground, and my mom and dad made the choice to get an in ground, and it was just so cool to watch the procedure or I should say, watch the construction and everything take place to be able to get to that. So if anybody's been thinking about it, from you all digging to actually having the pool, what's that time frame?
About 6 to 8 weeks.
Really? That's
Yes.
fast. Yeah, during the pandemic, there was such a delay in all of that. I mean, people couldn't work, and people were wanting to get a pool in, and you were behind by what, like 18 months?
Yeah, right at 2 years.
Holy cow! Well, I'm sure you're very happy that that's changed.
Yes.
So again, you can have a pool put into your backyard, whether it's an above ground or an in ground, and then go in and support Madonna and her family for so many reasons. I mean, you heard the story today about what this family has been through, but continuing to thrive. Tell me what the community has meant to you. How many people in the community that have been your patrons actually knew about this story?
Oh, quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, the funeral home for both my boys, there were so many people there. It was an hour-long line. And a lot of that was my customers there supporting me, which is awesome to have that.
Well, because they become family, right?
Yes, they do.
And again, I wish, well, my husband and I would have been there at the funeral home for you if I had known about this. And I just love that we know now that we've talked about this. I'm so happy that you were so real with me and so honest with me. It's almost as if Ricky and Andy said, Mom, this is the person I want you to tell, and let's get this story out. And we're doing it today because I want to honor their lives. I want to say that, again, gone and lost too soon. But maybe if we can tell their story and they can save a future life, then we did our job today, right?
That's correct.
And so Kim just said, so sorry for your loss to you and your family, Madonna. Addiction is so real and affecting many families. She asked, did your sons work in the family business as well before their death?
Yes, they did for a while, but mostly they were, in school. And then, unfortunately, with their addiction, I could not trust them to work in the business.
Yeah.
You know, it's very tough when you have to fire your own sons. But when you know there's a problem, I force them to go out on their own and to stand up and be men. But that doesn't always help.
No, but that's probably one of the most powerful things you could do because, again, you were trying to help them along. And you mentioned at the very beginning of the show, and all of you, if you're just tuning in here later, I'd love for you to watch this whole thing because it's a really powerful hour. She mentioned that she couldn't do the tough love. She couldn't turn away from her kids. She couldn't kick them out of the house. But when it came to business, right, you can't trust because if someone's on drugs or alcohol, you don't know how they're operating. You don't know that that's a detriment to your business.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
So that was your teaching, right? That was the parenting side of you that had to take place.
Yes, it was. It was.
Well,
and I just want to say for people that are out there that have children that are struggling, 30-day rehabs don't work. 60-day rehabs, they don't work. You're wasting your money unless that child wants to change. Because if they don't want it and want it more than anything, it's never going to happen. As much as we want it for them, they have to want it.
Woo, you just gave me chills. It's so true because you can put them in rehab and you're hoping that they will get better and that it'll be long-term for them, but they will just relapse if you're pushing them into it and they haven't said that I'm prepared and I'm ready to change my life, right?
That's correct.
So are there centers out there that you have since found out about that maybe have reached out, that have told you, or have family or friends said, my family member has gone to this, my family member has gone to that, or anybody else that's watching in the comments, please put that out there. I mean, again, we gave you the 988 helpline here in Missouri, but if there are some really good centers that are available that you think, let's at least maybe you just get some pamphlets and maybe you put the pamphlets down and then they are drawn to it. But pushing them and saying you're going, they rebel.
Yes, they do. I can remember Andrew getting off the plane from California, a 30-day rehab, and within 2 hours he was back on drugs.
Ugh. Did you have a discussion with him to say anything? Anybody communicate like why?
You know, it's just something that overpowers them. I had a conversation with Andrew once, and I said, Andrew, why do you do this? What is the feeling? And he said, Mom, it feels like I'm wrapped in God's arms.
Oh my.
And I said, but you can be wrapped in our arms. You can have that love. And I don't know, it's just something so powerful that it just really overtakes these kids. And I'm starting to get rained on.
I told you it was going to happen. Well, here's the deal. There's so much about today, very powerful, that hopefully can help one of you or many of you. And that's what Madonna and I wanted to do today. I don't want her to get wet. So we're going to wrap up so that your grandson doesn't have to hold the phone anymore. You don't have to hold the phone. Blessings out to you, my dear friend, because you mean the world to me that you did this story today. And so many people are saying thank you and so sorry for your loss. I'll end with this. Kim Sissel said, everyone at Just Pools has been great to work with in the building and now maintaining our pool. So that she's saying thank you to you for everything that you do. And for all of you, I ask you to go in. Why don't you give the address of Just Pools for us, Madonna?
3987 West Outer Road, Arnold, Missouri.
Please go in and give her a hug. I'm sure she welcomes them, and tell her that you heard about the story and that you appreciate, and also that you're sorry for the loss. But again, let's continue to honor their lives and let's try to save some future ones. Madonna, thank you for everything that you are doing for the community. Thank you again for telling the story. I can't wait to give you another hug. I will see you very soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Love you, my friend.
Bye-bye.
She's a special woman and done so much for St. Louis.
Watching her work is one of the most incredible things you can see.
She just sees value in everyone.
Sometimes people just need you to sit with them and hear them. I feel heard.
The time flew by, and it was like sitting and talking to a friend.
Not only creating a better place here in St. Louis, but to inspire others. It's always great to have examples like you.
You have such a light and such a presence, and I could feel it this morning.
We knew right away when you started this, we wanted to be on your show. Thanks for having us.
And I look forward to seeing how you rock and roll and shake it up.
I am very proud of the work that we have done on this show, and today might be one of the most powerful days. If you didn't get a chance to watch this entire hour, please do so. There may be something that just affects you so powerfully that it saves your life or saves the life of someone that you love. You know, in 30 years, I have done hundreds of thousands of interviews in radio and television. I have been honored with the people who have sat right beside me and have told their stories. And this brought me back to my TV days and my radio days. And for that, I feel honored and I feel blessed. For that woman to open up to me and to open up to all of you, because you're complete strangers to her, but she was willing to tell her story. And we've had others that have sat in the seat beside me that have done the same thing. If you have a topic, you have a story that you want us to put onto this show, please email me. I've got it here on the bottom of the screen, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com, because one of the things I want this show to be is a beacon of hope and a beacon of light for you and for others. I want to laugh together. I want to have aha moments together. I want us to cry together. I want us to communicate. I want us to be a community. That is the biggest message of my show, is I just want us to be real. And that is what we need more of in life. I just got a text message from a regular viewer of ours, and she said, I wanted to share this. If you could say a viewer reached out to me, no names need to be given. One night I had a call from a police officer, and they said, where is your daughter? And I said, she's in her room. And he said, you need to go in there right away. She's trying to take her life. And she said, that got me so upset. And I went in there to her and I helped her. And today she is married, pregnant, just got a house with her husband. But she said it was a very scary thing. So I'm guessing that that person reached out to a helpline and they were able to trace it to that particular house. And they were able to get, thank you to the police officers, by the way, for intervening and being able to save a life. That's one way we save a life, that we tell you that these lines exist, because sometimes people will say, I wish there were organizations. Well, there are, but many times it's just, as Madonna said, that they have to make the choice to make that call. You saw it here that it was statistics that we just want to change so much. Again, these are national statistics, but we've got the Lifeline number on the bottom of the screen. Send that to someone, 988. See if they can please make that call. Be there for them so that we can get those graphs to go down, not up. I mean, we've been looking over the years from 1999 to 2022 and don't have statistics from the last couple of years that we were able to grab, but it just continues to go up, and that's not a good thing. And then if it's not fentanyl, or if it's some other type of opioid, or it's alcoholism, or it's such deep depression and mental health that someone doesn't see that there's another day coming. They just see the darkness. I'm looking out the window right now and it's pouring down raining, and that's how they feel in their minds and in their spirits, that it's not going to get better. They need someone to intervene with them. Talk. Look at body language. I can't say it enough. Sit down and have family dinners again. Spend some time with your family. I have two children. Well, I have two people, I should say. A young 21-year-old, she just turned 21, and a mom. I am life coaching both of them, and it's been the most powerful 9 or 10 months to see their progression, the darkness, the deep crying, what they went through from a father who was an alcoholic, and how he tore the family apart, but where they are now because they chose to reach out. The psychology behind the deep depression is something that I've been studying for many, many years. And I feel blessed to be able to be in people's lives, whether it is someone struggling from overeating, the addiction of that alone, turning to food, because that's a real world addiction, right? We need to talk a little bit more about that in a nutrition and a dietitian talk, and have people be willing to come on the show and say, I didn't see the value in myself. I overate. I drank. I use drugs. They can't see the light that's coming. We talked about the forecast for today, and yes, we do have some storms. That's life. But then it's going to go away. And what happens? Sunshine comes. We will salvage this day. We want you to salvage the day. I don't want another life lost, but we've got to intervene early. This is the forecast for you again, 84, 85 over the next few days. We drop to the low 80s, just a small chance of rain on Saturday, but better days are ahead. Better days are ahead. And before we wrap up and tell you about what's coming up or on the coming days and then next week, we've got some exciting things to come for you. Let's read from this because it seems very powerful and needed today. Jesus Calling from Sarah Young. These devotions for every day of the year. So we're on June 5th. I can't believe we're already in June. We're already deep early into our summer. Remember that you live in a fallen world, an abnormal world tainted by sin. Much frustration and failure result from your seeking perfection in this life. There's nothing perfect in this world except God. That is why closeness to God satisfies deep yearnings and fills you with joy. Madonna just said she turned to her faith. She had to. She has to be able to get through what she's been through. I have planted longing for perfection in every human heart. This is a good desire, which I alone can fulfill. But most people seek the fulfillment in other people, in earthly pleasures or achievements. Thus they create idols before which they bow down. I will have no other gods before me. Make me the deepest desire of your heart. Let me fulfill your yearning for perfection. That's from Romans 8, verse 22, from Exodus 20, verse 3, and Psalm 37, verse 4. I hope you feel the power in today's show as much as I did. I hope you go in, please, and support Madonna. She is now a big part of our team. She is one of our regular sponsors, and we're going to laugh together. Today, you may have cried with her story, but don't cry alone. Don't sit alone in the sadness. Please do me a favor, and whoever it is that you trust with the deepest, darkest, sometimes thoughts, and then the communication needs to happen. The woman who wrote me the story about coming out ahead said the police officer was a family friend of ours, and she just reached out to him. Thank you to him. Thank you to the men and women who are there for us, those first responders in fire, in police, in EMS, in dispatch. There are so many levels of them. They are incredible heroes. To all of you, thank you again for tuning into today's show, and do me a favor and share this again with whoever follows you, because that's the branches of the tree that just continues to get the message out to all of your socials. Again, whether it's the full story or it's a clip that you want someone to hear, when you share it, say, whoever it is, do me a favor and watch this particular part of the show, because that can be the powerful part of what they need to hear. Tomorrow, we will be at Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue for our positive talk time that we do every other Thursday. And I'm excited. We now get a chance to branch out and meet more of the team. We've been visiting with Jessica Cook for the last several months, but she wanted me to meet some more of her family, right? It's her friends and her family that work together. We've got a couple of women that we're going to feature over the next month that have been with her, one for 20 years. And we're also going to be talking with one of her trainers later this month. We're going to feature Timothy tomorrow. Timothy is one of the Texas 7, and he's the only one that still exists. He is a beautiful dog, and we're going to feature him up for adoption, as well as talk about so many things, including their upcoming gala that I hope you can come to. I am emceeing that in October. Would love to see you at that. So that's tomorrow. And then on Friday, this just came about, by the way, I am going to be bringing Ruby Leon not once, but twice. We've been talking a lot about the 4th of July concert that is coming up at Defiance Ridge Vineyards. And I hope you've purchased your tickets for this one. I'd love to spend the holiday with you. But for some of you who have already plans, maybe you have plans already for the holiday and you can't be there for the Defiance Ridge one, well, then you have an opportunity next week to see her a little earlier. And tickets are still available at Cedar Lake Cellars, which is out west as well. If you've never been, what a beautiful winery that is. I'm going to have fun at these. We'll go out earlier. They're still talking about the possibility of an opening band for her. If not, they'll open up the gates at 6:00. If there's an opening band, they'll open at 4:00. But Ruby Lee will be playing June 15th at Cedar Lake Cellars, and then she'll be July 4th at Defiance Ridge Vineyards. And how proud am I to be able to bring her out for both of those? We're going to have some fun together. We'll have some good wine together. We'll have some good food. I would love to see you. Please do me a favor and come up and say hi. I'm a big hugger and would love to do that. Let's just pack and let's support those that are supporting us. So thank you to Cedar Lake Cellars for contacting me yesterday. We've been working with them for a little while. But you know what? I said, well, let's go beyond that. What else do you have coming up? Well, they said, how about we do this entire series? So not only on June 15th, but mark these on your calendar. July 13th, Cedar Lake Cellars is going to have the Platinum Rock Legends. Maybe you're a big fan of them. Or how about August 17th, Cedar Lake Cellars and the Big Rigs? I'm going to be out there for that entire music series. See, you got to love it. So here's what I want you to do. Think about friends and family members that have businesses. They have events coming up. They have festivals. You want the spotlight shined on them. They need a little assistance. They need a little help. Well, I would love to do that. Thank you, Kim, by the way. She just said, cute jacket. Is it new? Yeah, kind of, maybe. Not brand new. I've had it for the last maybe 4, 5, 6 months. I used to be known for my fashion and TV. A lot of you'd only get a chance to see a little bit of it. But yes, isn't it gorgeous? It is, by the way, one of my favorite designers, Joseph Ribkoff, and this is from Christopher's in Kirkwood. Go get yourself one. So yes, he's been a sponsor of our show. We did a bunch of stuff with him around the holidays. So I just want to thank everybody that's coming on with us on a regular basis, regular sponsors monthly. But then we also have people who book us for Mobile Monica's live from their business, like next Thursday, June 13th. I keep hearing from more and more of you that are coming to our live show at Sunset Overlook, and that just really lights me up. 7 p.m. next Thursday to 8:30, we are going to be at Sunset Overlook. great food, some great wine, some sangrias evidently, because that's their popular drink. Come out with your friends and family. Please do me a favor and designate a driver and just enjoy some time with us. There's going to be some great music there and enjoying what I hope will be a beautiful sunset. Take your pictures, and if you can, send them to me so I can show some of your sunset pictures the next morning or in the coming days after that. We also that morning have a really awesome show that I'm looking forward to. Speaking of someone dealing with really difficult things in their life, if you have followed Russell Dancing UPS Man on TikTok or on Instagram, he only has one account. And actually, if you follow him on TikTok, it actually says in parentheses, my only account, because there's a bunch of people who have scammed him. And there's some crazy things that have happened to him. He has obviously over 1 million followers, but he every day just wants to bring hope and optimism and joy through dance. He just does these wonderful little snippets that are 20, 30 seconds, and he's smiling and he's laughing. And that's why people continue to follow him more and more and more. And that's why people continue to follow us, because they're saying, gosh, Monica, thank you for being there with your guest to help us understand life, the real aspects of life. And so what I ask you is to help our growth on not only Facebook, but on YouTube. A lot of you had to watch our YouTube channel the other day because Facebook, for some reason, took us down a couple days ago. So a lot of people had to go over to YouTube. Watch us on YouTube. Tell people to subscribe, which just means for you to follow us. And that allows you to know that we're going live. Today, though, we're on not only Facebook and YouTube, but X and Instagram and Rumble. And I love that our platforms are growing. Tomorrow, we have a powerful podcast. We have that besides the talk show, our audio podcast that drops on Thursdays on all of the audio podcast platforms. And it's with Travis Snyder, professional baseball player turned CEO of 3A Athletics. And we're going to talk about what's being done to our youth in sports. They see the anger in parents yelling at their coaches or the umpires. They see the amount of stress and pressure put on them at such a young age, which is just crazy. I love what Travis is doing and his partner, and I'd love to have them on again. I told him we could do a series every week on the things that happen in with our children, right? We need to let them be kids. Stop putting so much pressure on them and stop trying to live your life through them because you were a failed athlete or you weren't the beauty queen or whatever it is. Let them be kids. And then, yes, support them. Don't push them. Support them. Be there for them. Let them find their way. So that's tomorrow. And then again, on Friday, we'll talk with Carl Bohm, the owner of Cedar Lake Cellars. We'll get into the weekend. Next Monday, we'll have Dr. Sean Neary on with Mid-America Spine and Rehab. By the way, thank you, Sean. I can move my neck around. I'm doing good after being in so much pain over the last couple of weeks. On Tuesday, you know the guy from the Cardinals, Todd Thomas, that one guy. We're going to not only talk about how he got that gig with the Cardinals, but also getting involved in, he does some commercials. So he does some spokesperson work. He evidently does some shows with his son, kind of spotlighting different restaurants, and they give their reviews, he and his son together, which is really cool. And then he lost his wife to breast cancer, and they've got an upcoming gala that I want to tell you about, an upcoming event to raise money for breast cancer awareness, the Pink Ribbon Project. So Todd will be on with us next Tuesday. On Wednesday, I am going to ask each and every one of you for your prayers, as my mom has a procedure on her heart. And I know that with your prayers, she will come out with flying colors and she'll get into her healing. And then she'll come home from the hospital and we'll be there to take care of her because, you know, she's one of my dearest and one of my best friends. So next Wednesday, we'll be airing a show that you didn't get to see in the morning. I am going to air a show with Alan Hunter from MTV. Did y'all watch him growing up back in the 80s? I know a lot of you didn't get a chance to see that show because we did it during the midday hours. So that show will be live. That show will be with you on the 12th when I am sitting by my brothers, waiting for my mom to come out and be in recovery. I told you about Russell Butler, Sunset Overlook on the 13th. And then on Friday, the 14th, Friendship Friday with Dot Fleshman. We'll talk a little real estate. We'll talk friendship. And we're going to talk about the Circus Flora. She's actually on the board of that. The 18th, Lisa Ramey from The Voice will be on with us. A lot of you maybe had a chance to see her. And I'm excited because the first show at the Muni opens up. Les Miserables opens up at the Municipal Theater I can't wait for that. That is the show that introduced me to the arts when I was in high school. I have to thank the priest at the time taking all of us. He was the one that introduced me to Les Mis, and it's become one of my favorite shows ever since. And then I'm excited. I had a meeting at about 9:00 last night, working late into the evening. I am going to be talking. I love to spotlight different wonderful people, as I mentioned, with great businesses. Well, Andrea, who is the owner of Mueller Furniture and Mattress down in DeSoto, she's going to come on with us. 97 years that company has been open. How cool is that? And we're going to look back at some old pictures, and I just love to go back in history and how do you thrive for 97 years? Well, we're going to talk with her. She'll talk about the Mueller family and then talk about her taking over and the wonderful things that they do and who she is, because I really just love to spotlight good human beings. So Andrea, thank you for booking us and being a part of wonderful things that we're going to do together. So that just gives you a little rundown of some things to come. Again, events will be at Mobile Monica's, as well as great in-depth talks. Laugh together, cry together, change lives together. That's what we're doing. To all of you, thank you for tuning in today. I hope I see you tonight at the Sheldon. We're going to be there with great support for my beautiful adopted baby sister, Abby Stahlschmidt. If you haven't heard about it, I'm going to let you hear right now. Tickets are still available, 8:00 tonight. Of course, I'm sure I'll be talking a little bit about that tomorrow, giving a little review of how proud I'm sure I will be of her, as we also talk about the dogs. I'll see you live from Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue in Cowdville tomorrow morning. And remember, you do have a good day to salvage beyond the rain. Grab your umbrella right now as you head out, and then enjoy the sunshine that will be coming, because better days, better moments are coming beyond the darkness. Remember that. Be kind to everybody. That will go a long way. God bless you. Have a great day.
Hey, The Real Monica Adams listeners. This is Abby Stahlschmidt. You may know me as an electric violinist who has performed with various bands in the area, and I'm excited to personally invite you to my premiere at the Sheldon Concert Hall on June 5th at 8 p.m. You'll hear my new symphonic rock music as well as classic rock and pop covers, all backed by a string orchestra, full band, and multiple guest instrumentalists and vocalists throughout the night. It's truly going to be an awesome time. Head on over to metrotix.com or the Sheldon Concert Hall to get your tickets for the Dream Machine concert on June 5th at 8 p.m. I cannot wait to see you there.